All right, how's that quality? How's this quality, guys? I think I need to be a little closer. This needs to be a little lighter. I got my ozone water going right there. Ozone water there. Beamer there. Beamer mat there. Zero gravity chair there. This is my first nighttime live. What's up, Black and Surfo? And Nate, I'm actually going to be doing my lives sitting down from now on in meditation posture. That's the way I'm going to do my lives from now on. I'm actually able to really, truly channel and bring my highest self when I sit in this posture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut these doors, and then I'm going to just start tuning in. No, I'm glowing because I was just at a hot springs for 2 days. It's not the light, Black. It's not the light. It's me. It's detox. So I'll just start speaking in terms of the obstacles that I'm dealing with, and maybe some of you guys can resonate. So the obstacles I'm dealing with right now are that I want to travel, I want to move, I want to shift my space, I want to start meeting new people, I want to go back to life again. And there's the comfort of home, which I know is safe and secure and it's predictable. And then there's travel, which is really unpredictable and really could be scary, and the COVID thing and all of the, and I'm not really that scared of COVID, but I'm more so just sort of, I'm resistant to all of the measures in place with COVID, right? So it's like, I want to travel, I want to move, but there's a split because home is really safe and predictable. So I don't know if you guys are going through this or if you're just kind of settling at home and being okay with being at home. I've found that I really, really need to meet new people in order to thrive. Like, I don't thrive when I don't meet new people, right? And I don't thrive virtually. When this is the only means, I don't really thrive, right? So anyway, there's something coming for me as far as moving, shifting, and then there's also resistance because this COVID thing has created almost this level of comfort. Like, I've never wanted to be home more than now. Like, now I make reasons to go home, right? It's like, oh, let's just go home. Like, when I'm out and about, or I'm out in the streets, or I'm in a restaurant, or like, it's like all roads lead to one, just going home, going back to the computer, to the internet, to the digital world. There's this massive momentum to being plugged into the digital world and feeling somewhat fulfilled, but always there's that vacancy and void because it's all digital, right? So I feel like really the move is to have a community now. I guess I should look at there. Yeah. Okay. To have a community, a tribe, right? That's something that's coming through strong right now. And I'm trying to create one, and I'm trying to join one, or I don't know. I'm looking for answers. I'm asking for answers. How do I move forward with this vision that I have? I have an end of the line vision of what I want. But I guess it would require the right place, the right timing, enough funds to sort of materialize it. And it's just such a crazy time to like buy property or buy land, you know? Anyway, that's just my ramblings. If anybody has any questions that can get me going, I do have something that wants to be delivered today. That's why I turned the camera on. I would say I used to go to this place called the Center SF, which was a tea place in San Francisco, a conscious tea place. I used to go to gatherings, ecstatic dance. I used to go to Santa Barbara. Berkeley had things going. Berkeley had farmers markets. Berkeley had these restaurants I used to eat at and sit outside. I got to be honest, my life has lacked full tribe that I crave for many, many years. I think I had it in college, and then since then I haven't had it to the degree that I want it, except at my own retreats. At my own retreats, it happens for about 5 days and then it's gone. Right? So the truth is that I wasn't doing anything that amazing in Berkeley. But now it's just nothing, emptiness, right? Wonder if I should go live on Instagram, guys. Can you bear with me for 2 minutes so I can go live on Instagram? I need your permission. Can somebody tell me, yes, Josh, you can go live on Instagram, or no, we need you here. Do not leave. Okay, thanks, Surfo. I have this beautiful setup right here. I'm going to be able to do all. Oh. Guys, that was not a good sound. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. You see that? Pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool. Okay. We're doing a late night Instagram live. Signing in. You know, I don't actually have the Instagram app. I install it pretty much once a day, and then I delete it once a day. Can you believe that? That's how much I hate it. I install it, I open it, I use it, then I delete the app, and I don't use it until the whole next day. If I have the app on my phone, I'll click that shit 500 times in a day. It's quite sad. I'm sure you guys can relate. Oh my goodness, we are live on Instagram. Oh. Now the trick is, am I going to be able to keep all of this steady? Okay. So Instagram here, YouTube here. Sorry, stressful. Okay, I can't put the cameras closer the way I have it set up right now. So Instagrammers, I'm going to have to sometimes ignore you, and YouTubers, I'm going to have to sometimes ignore you. Nice pecs. Oh, thank you. Yeah, just so you know, I don't take my shirt off in order to flaunt my body. I'm well aware that my body is just mediocre at best. I do it because it feels really natural and good and organic, and makes me feel like I'm like on an island or something, like a Hawaii, or And I feel organically like an island boy. I don't really feel like a Berkeley city boy, you know, because and I'm also not really down with the whole just being so professional thing, like this whole concept of being professional, you know, like why do anything different than what you really want to do for the sake of looking professional, right? What's the topic for tonight? Come on, man, you know me. I don't know the topic until the camera turns on. What's up, Dee Dee? I'm looking for one good question on Instagram or on YouTube that will facilitate. I'm just making sure the camera catches. Okay, you got me. You got me. All right. This is Yemingju, one of the rarest stones on planet Earth. You wouldn't believe it, but this is about I got a very good deal on it, but this is about a $2,000 stone. Anywhere else, I still paid a lot of money for it, but not quite $2,000. It's very magical. Yemingju. YEHMINGZHU, I think. This stone is it is a stone for the royalty, Chinese royalty, and it glows in the dark. It actually glows in the dark, believe it or not. You can't see it, but oh, you want to see it? Oh, can you see that it glows in the dark? All right. So when you first got sick, did you have support from family and friends, or were you on my own? My friend Surfo, I was on my own. That's a question that leads to a nice story. So when I was first going through my illness and I chose to go the psychiatric route, of course I had the support of my family. You know, they only wanted the best for me, but they only wanted the best for me provided that it was something that I was choosing a path that they believed in or knew about or understood, right? As soon as I flushed all my psychiatric drugs down the toilet and I went on a alternative path, I lost a lot of support from friends and family. It's not like it's not like I became a leper and they were like, go away, but it was like, dude, we're not helping you financially. I don't even want to talk to you about it. I have nothing to offer you other than the fact that I think it's a bad idea. Right. And that's pretty much the way that it was for 4 years. Right. So that's the way it was. And then, you know, I did this for 4 years on my own, 3.5 years without any support. I made all of my money. I caddied at a country club. I grinded it out and figured out a way to make it work. Always figured out a way to make enough money to go to the jungle, to buy my supplements, to do all of my healing modalities. But at the very, very end, when I went into bankruptcy and I was $50,000 in debt, I eventually got help from my father, but that was only when we learned about mercury poisoning. And once he learned about mercury poisoning and saw my test results, then he totally supported me. And for about 4 or 5 months, he supported me a lot. And basically gave me a check for like $1,800 a month to figure out, you know, to do all the protocols. Right. And then about 4 months into it, I made my first client paycheck. A client signed up with me. This was only like a couple weeks after starting to feel some level of normalcy. I was just like, after 4 years of not having any mission, any purpose, 4.5 years at that point, I was like, I need to work in this field. Like, I need to. No, you don't understand. Like, I will die if I do not if I don't start making a living in this field, I will fucking die, because I cannot possibly give my life force to anything else, like go work at Whole Foods or go work in an office job or go back to Microsoft or like anything like that. I was like, I cannot fucking even think about sitting in an interview room after just going on a 4-year hero's journey where I shredded my psyche, drinking ayahuasca 31 times, fasted for months on end, and stuck every herb up my bum that you could think of. I was not going to go sit in an interview room and say, yes, I do think I'm qualified for this job. I would be a great salesman for Aflac because I really value the insurance that you guys give to help people and make them feel safe. Right? So, yeah, that wasn't happening after all of that. Yeah, I mean, I could have kept the knowledge to myself, and it would have been a level of soul suicide, but I mean, also in full transparency, I needed to make a living. Like, I needed to make a living. It's not like I thought, okay, I'm going to just do this for the money. Right. But, in all reality, as Denzel Washington says best in his speech about life, about what it takes to be successful, he has this beautiful speech. And just Instagrammers, by the way, if I'm not looking directly at you, I got YouTube going down here too, right? So sorry, I'm not ignoring you, but I am reading your comments. Let me shut this, by the way. That's ozone water. Fully ozonated water. Ready to drink. But you can't really breathe when you're drinking it. You have to hold your breath. Wow. Delicious. Cheers. You can see my mouth through the bottom. All right, so we got some questions here. The Didi asks, can you explain how ayahuasca affected your brain? Yes, I do make my own ozone water. Can you speak on purpose? Do you feel like the suffering you went through was worth it? I like that question a lot. So let me just finish on what I was saying about Denzel Washington. Denzel was talking about how whatever you want inside and what you so desperately crave is basically God's message to you sent beforehand that it's yours already. Okay? So he says, I'll try and imitate it. You got to watch the video, by the way. It's got like 44 million views or something. Whatever you want, I can't do his voice. Whatever you want in your heart, what you crave in your heart, good, is God's message sent beforehand to tell you that it's yours already. And he says it in a way where he said, he lets you know it's okay to want to make a lot of money. It's okay to want to be famous. It's okay to want to be someone big in the world. It's okay to do these things, right? So admittedly, Black, who I know that's not your name, I'm just spacing. I know, I know exactly who you are. Sorry, I'm spacing on your name, man. You're at my retreat. The fact that your name is Black on here is throwing me off, but I know who you are. Jason, thank you. So when it all went down and I came out of my illness, I thought I had something for the planet, and I thought I could make money from it, and I thought I could help people, and I thought I could be a figure in the world of, hey, I almost died and I'm now back to life, right? So that was my motivation with all of that. Do you feel like the suffering you went through was worth it? Because where you are now? The best way I could explain it is that it's the greatest mythological, biblical journey that I'm still kind of on. that I'm so happy I did, but I would never, ever, ever want to do it again. Okay. So I'm so happy I did it, but I would never, ever, ever want to do it again. Yeah. All right. Ayahuasca did not necessarily directly cause me brain damage, but when I did the dieta in the jungle the third time and I was in isolation, I pushed myself to a limit that no man should ever or woman should ever push themselves to. I was eating nothing but fish and plantains. I was already mercury poisoned, and I was drinking ayahuasca 3 or 4 times a week, and I was taking this tree called White Acaspi, and it was extremely, extremely intense, and I felt parts of my brain get damaged. I felt parts of my soul get damaged, and it was horrible, and I'm still healing from that. It wasn't ayahuasca. The ayahuasca wasn't the only issue. It was the state of my psyche. It was my relentless tenacity. It was the dieta itself. It was the diet. It was the isolation. It was all of these things together that, were a horrible combination. They were a combination for insanity. I would have gone insane had I stayed in that jungle. Without question. I viscerally remember the moment in time when I pulled yet another all-nighter in the Tambo, which I was sleeping like 40 minutes a night. And I remember the final night when I woke up. What waking up entails that you fell asleep in the first place. I arose out of my bed, and the sun started coming up, and I just said, I'm done. I said, I'm done. If I drink ayahuasca one more time, I will never, ever, ever be able to come back to being a human, come back to society. The place that I went to, the place that I got to was so deep, so thin between the veil of the entire spiritual world and me. The veil of reality that we're supposed to have, a grounded reality. I mean, the veil so thin that had I pursued that one more inch, I would have never returned, and you would have never been watching these YouTube videos. I'm 100% confident about that. I knew it deep in my bones, and I made a decision to leave that day. I left the jungle that day. That day, I literally packed my bags and I said, no mas. And I walked over to the shamans and I said, No puedo más. No puedo más. They look at me. Josu, Josu, ¿por qué? Josu, ¿qué pasó, Josu? I said, nada más. Nada más ayahuasca, nada más dieta. No puedo, no puedo más. And I tapped out on the floor. I just tapped out. No más. Disculpe, disculpe, disculpe. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, no puedo completo. Disculpe, pero no más. Terminado hoy día, por favor. And 5 minutes later, the shaman was doing a closing ceremony without even ayahuasca. It was just in his tambo. Roberto, I'll never forget him. He was just singing his Icaros, having his bottle, protecting me. He's saying, amigo, no es bueno, no es bueno, no es bueno. You're too open, you're too open. You shouldn't go to town. You shouldn't leave the jungle. You're way too open. I just said, I'm done. And I went to Miami. And that's when I almost took my own life. I still know that horror that I went through. I mean, I can feel pieces of it. What that horror is like, what that feeling of terror and dread is like. Yeah. What did I see? Well, when the veil was that thin, you know, when the veil is that thin, it's like I lost touch with the human. So I was becoming, and it wasn't pleasurable by any means because of how much I was suffering, but it was like I was becoming, it's like I was living more and more in the world of the shaman, in the shamans, right? The world they live in is very, it's a whole other reality, the indigenous shamans, right? And I was a gringo, and a gringo doesn't know how to these shamans, these indigenous Shipibo shamans, they've grown up in this world. Their parents were shamans and their parents were shamans. And they grew up navigating these spaces of consciousness and figuring out how to come back in one piece, right? As a gringo, as a Westerner, we have a lot more neuroses to unravel, a lot more faulty blueprints, a lot more conditioning, fear, irrational fear. We have a lot more indoctrination, dogma, right? So, as a Westerner, the places I was going to, what does that mean? The syntax of your language. What does that mean? I'm gonna look up what that word is. Syntax. Anyway, so thanks, Julie. She says, you seem a bit depressed. Just know people care about you and are grateful for the valuable information you share. Yeah, I mean, I am a bit low today, you know, I am, but I wouldn't call it depressed, you know. I'm just in a sort of lower lower mood, you know, and there's some things that have happened in my life and some trips and things that I thought I was going to do that I don't think I'm doing. And I mean, it's a long story, but yeah, I wouldn't really call it depressed, right? So you want to be mindful about how you reflect to someone their mood, right? So when you say to someone, you seem a bit depressed, just know people care about you and you're grateful for the valuable information you share. It's like you're using the language of depressed. You're actually putting that label on them, right? So what could just be an off day, like what 1986 just said, or it could just be a sort of mellow, internal, slightly low mood. You're now making it more than that, and it's actually not even helpful, right? So I understand your intentions are good. I'm not coming down on you. I'm just saying that when you do that, you actually you don't help someone. Or if you do help them, you kind of create helplessness, right? It's like, you seem depressed. Is there anything I can do for you? Can I get you a cup of tea? Ooh, what happened here? Lost you guys? You know, you seem depressed. Can I get you a cup of tea? Right? It's like, you know, it's, there's other ways of bringing in concern and bringing in care where you don't, yeah, and totally right. And I'm somber because guys, I'm in a space of diving into like my deepest, darkest shit. It would be so inauthentic for me to be in high vibes only. I'm talking to you about when I almost killed myself and when I was doing a dieta in the jungle. But anyway, the point is, like, guys, this is, oh yeah, let me go more into that, Alonzo. But the point of what I wanted to say is not to come down on you. I know your intentions are good, but to help you know that when you're communicating with someone who's going through a hard time, it's very, very important the way that you hold space for them. If you swim in the depressed waters with them, or you put a label on it, you're actually keeping them there. If you totally give them permission to be wherever they are, right? You just give them full permission to be wherever they are and not put a label on it and just be like, just hold space for them, then you allow them to feel it, and you're the powerful being that allows them to come out of it, right? So again, it's like you don't want to hold someone in their junk, which is what a lot of people do. This, Julie, you just stimulated this conversation. It's not really about what you did at this point. It's just if you hold them there by saying, you know, you seem depressed, you know, I think this is actually like anxiety, you know, maybe chronic anxiety. You don't actually give them a chance to churn through it, right? You feed the monster, right? So anyway, not a big deal. So the indigenous people were more equipped to withstand the pressures of your altered state. Castaneda, active side of infinity. Yeah, that is, you know, kind of what I was talking about, that the shamans lived in these spaces of, of altered reality, right? So they grew up in it. Their conditioning shattered at a much younger age. The conditioning of the Westerner it's deeper. It's much deeper. It's more neurotic, more erratic. Okay. So what I was doing was I was accessing the shamanic portals that these shamans lived in, was accessing these portals from ayahuasca, from isolation. But my hardware was not capable of traveling to those destinations and returning. In that moment in time that I was talking about, I could have gone there, but I never would have been able to return. It's like I would have lost a part of myself. I don't know what that path would have looked like. I think I would have just died, honestly, or gone insane, to be honest. But yeah, yeah, I wouldn't have come back, right? So I'd reached my limit. I reached my limit of what my hardware was able to handle. And I was very crystal clear about that. Sure, Wombo Combo, you can ask me a question that's been bothering you. How did I recover from ayahuasca? Well, you know, recovery is an interesting word. I think that when you open portals, that there's a sealing of those portals that needs to take place, right? So when you open these portals, and in particular, they're portals into dark spaces or neurotic spaces, or unhelpful, ungrounded spaces, it's like something in the mind opens, something in the spirit opens. As above, so below. There's a part of you that's above in the astral world that opens to it. Your actual mind receiver portal opens to it. And then, of course, your body does, your trauma in your body. And when we open these portals, they never fully go away. Okay? You don't close them forever. These portals have to be put balm on them, sealed, not chosen, choosing something else, choosing something deeper. There are times when, still very often to this day, there is portals that are available to me to go into. Okay. And what I mean by that is, like, I can tune into very, very dark spirits. I can tune into dark frequencies. I can, oh my goodness, look at this comment. You need to get out of here. Have you tried using nipple clamps while on Molly? I've done this a few times and it has helped me grow spiritually and felt my mind open. The next day I had to have my stomach pumped due to rock consumption. Thank you, Pope Chris. Thank you. Okay, what I need to do is not read the comments while I'm in my flow. What was I talking about before Chris told us about the nipple clamping on Molly? So beautifully said, Pope Chris. Tune into portals. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Pope Chris. You were listening. So, yeah, I mean, look, basically it was, what happens is that, oh my goodness, I need Jesus. Well, Jesus is on my desk right now, a photo of Jesus. Thank you very much, Airsoft Mega Lord. Do I need Jesus more? Do I need to completely surrender to Jesus and all my problems will be solved? Is that what I need? Okay, so, yeah, there are portals during ayahuasca where, there were just ugly spaces of consciousness, very, very, very fearful spaces of consciousness. And that, those are could be available to me at times if I over detox, if I stay isolated for too long, if I'm not on the right diet, if I'm not in my flow, if I'm not on my mission. And when I when they are open or when they're available to me, it's not like, oh fuck, I didn't recover from this thing because these portals are still available to me. It's more so you cracked yourself open to something so massively deep. Once you see, you can't unsee. And now I have to choose something else, right? It's like, nope, choosing something else, choosing to rest somewhere else, choosing not to go down that road, right? So you can always tune into the portals that were open during mushrooms or ayahuasca or DMT or whatever, marijuana, and things that occurred and cracked open, but the magic is not living there, right? And I suppose at a certain point in time, we can close those portals completely, but I haven't figured out a way to do that. There are a lot of portals to ayahuasca that I actually appreciate, and help me with my clients and help me with my retreats, right? Why did I go to the dark entities and dark side first? Does ayahuasca first open portals to dark areas? Well, ayahuasca is the vine of death, right? I would say that even for those who are really, really, really bright beings, who have a lot of light, who don't have a lot of trauma, I would say ayahuasca still takes them to spaces of death occasionally and darkness occasionally, again, because the magic in going into dark spaces and coming out of it is unparalleled, unmatched. You can't possibly learn as much as going deep into the dark, right? It's the ultimate initiation. It's the ultimate incarnation of your strengths, right? Yes, I competed against several UFC fighters, Jack Coley. Yeah, I did. So even for those who have a ton of light in their system, ayahuasca will still take them towards experiences of death and darkness, as particularly in the beginning, as a sort of initiation and as a sort of cleansing. But what ayahuasca typically does is just magnifies what's already inside somebody. Okay. Wow, 14-day water fast. Good for you, man. Epic. Good work, bro. Epic. A lot of questions here. Jesus. I'm getting thrown off my flow. Too many comments. I love the comments, though. Don't stop the comments. That's what I live for. So ayahuasca will just bring people to what they already are. Okay? To what they already have inside. So it's a magnifying glass, and it brings things up to the surface. I competed against Mickey Gall. I competed against Usman, this Russian UFC fighter, Usman Obgabigan. I beat both of them. Competed against, if you just watch WNO, who's number one grappling. I fought Dante Leon twice. That's the big. It was like the big Jiu-Jitsu no-gi tournament. These are top black belts in the world. Fought Dante Leon twice. I lost ref decision, and he submitted me once. I fought the first fight. I fought that dude Jason Rao. He beat me on points. I beat Manshur Kara, who's world-class black belt. So, all right, maybe I'll answer one more question here, and then I'm going to go to sleep. Yeah, I should. You look like you were a badass, good fighter. Thank you, Dee Dee. Wombo combo, what's your question? I'm not answering that question. You stupid. Not a hallucinogen question, but is your confidence and comfort in your own skin something you've always had or something you've grown into since detoxing? So it's interesting, right? Because everything's relative. So I still feel at a lot of times that I don't feel comfortable in my own skin. I feel, like I want to get somewhere, like I'm rushing, like I have to go somewhere, I have to move, I have to rush. What am I always rushing for? I wake up and I'm rushing through the day. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why can't I just chill? I mean, a part of me feels like that's a blessing because I think I have an important mission to accomplish before I die. And if I didn't have that rushing mentality, then I'd probably just relax on a beach somewhere. So there's always, maybe I should just delete this guy, Pope Chris. I'll hide him. You're hidden for the next hour, Pope Chris. Sorry. All right. My last question here was talking about confidence. Yeah. So, I often feel like I can be way more comfortable in my body and way more at peace. And we're always searching and looking for that next level of peace, that next level of clarity, right? So it's all relative because in my world, I ask some people that I know, hey, how do you feel so comfortable in your body? Teachers of mine that have been meditating for 35 years, right? So for you as an outsider, you would look at me and say, oh, he feels comfortable in his body. And to a certain degree, it's true. But there's levels even more that I wish to attain, deeper levels of peace. And the confidence piece is there and is really always there, even in my lowest. And I think that I cultivated that. I think that I cultivated confidence because I learned that it's such a mind trip to believe in anything else other than confidence, right? So essentially you are whatever you believe. So if you feel, if you convince yourself that you're good enough or that you're good or that you have a skill or that you're wise or that you know what you're talking about or that you have like wisdom, whatever channel of art that you want to express, whether it be your voice or your music or your dance, if you basically just plug into the thing that wants to come through you, because we all have this like channel available to us, right? So like there's a million voices that could be going on saying I'm not good enough, or I don't know, I'm not perfect enough, or this or that or this or that. There's all these vibrations that are happening even as I make a video like this, right? All of those vibrations exist. Like, well, Josh, who are you to do it? Like, let's say I'll go into them for a moment, right? And let's exaggerate them and dramatize them for a moment. It would be like, hey, Josh, you feel low today. You shouldn't manifest your life when you're low like this. You should just stay away from the internet. You can't help anybody when you feel tired. You don't feel, that well, or you don't really know what you're talking about, Josh. You don't really, or, your body doesn't look good enough, right? You look too skinny. You lost a lot of weight. You shouldn't really film right now. Wait until you gain more weight back. Wait until you gain more muscle. Wait until you're more clear. Wait until you're feeling really, really, really good, right? These are all the voices that have potential power over someone and potential power over me. But I've created a carving where I just do not listen to these things. You did realize confidence. You don't sound like you did not tap in the arrogant side of confidence. So, what I'm saying is that I could always choose those other things and they always lead to nowhere. They always lead to nowhere. They always lead to paralysis. They always lead to lack of creation, right? So eventually I realized, oh, all of those voices are equally as unimportant. Okay, if I ignore all of those voices, what wants to come through? It's an expression of art. It's an expression of me. It's an authentic me in this moment. Yes, it's not perfect. Yes, it's fucked up in some ways. Yes, today it's low and kind of feels like shit. And I'm like, I don't want to be in Berkeley anymore. I want to move. I want to get out of here. But I don't know where to go. And I just feel like I'm in a prison because everything in the world is closed down and blah, what the fuck, right? That's how I feel today. But if my whole world has to stop when I'm not perfect, I'm never going to create. I'm never going to move through that space of funkiness. You move through spaces of funkiness by basically doing what I'm doing today, which is to film anyway, to breathe, to film, to share myself in those moments, in the shadows. You share in the moments of the shadows, and then you become okay with your own shadows. You resolve them. You put light on them. You share it to the world, and you learn that the world appreciates them. And then there's nothing to be scared of. If the world appreciates your shadows, you're no longer afraid of your own shadows, right? Anyway, the point is that confidence is, you have to carve it out. You have to train to be confident. And confidence can only come from a deep place when you've experienced true victory in your life. Not victory in the way of ego, win and loss, but victory in the way of you've overcome things. You've found deep parts of yourself. You've incarnated strengths through tribulations. And of course, through detox. Because our natural state is going to be towards more positive vibration, right? More higher state of consciousness, right? And I wish detox solved all my problems. Like, I wish I could be enlightened from detox, but it's too easy. You can't just be enlightened by sticking things up your ass and taking pills, right? Like, it makes it easier to be in a good vibration, but I got to tell you guys, there's nothing like being with other humans. Being with other humans is so important. So I encourage everybody not to stay too isolated. I've been living alone for 7 months, 8 months, right? I've been living alone. A lot of quarantine, a lot of solo time, guys. A lot of solo time, more than I want. That's the honest truth. And it fluctuates. Some days I would say, oh yeah, this has been amazing to be alone. And today that's not one of those days, right? Today I feel like I need to meet more people. So I digress. That is my teaching for the day. More so like a therapy session. But I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah. Let me know what you think about my shadows. I guess here's what it comes down to. The manifestation teachers, the new age philosophy on, creating your ultimate life, law of attraction would basically have you not create content when you're in a less than great vibration, right? My ultimate goal is to be in an amazing vibration and to feel really, really high and clear, and to just be a vessel of pure light for everyone who I come into contact with. Like, that's my ultimate goal, right? Now, what happens when that drops? Which, by the way, is pretty much every fucking day, right? To some degree, just at some juncture of the day, this light, this feeling of vessel of light and clarity for all of my clients and all of my YouTube family, being this vessel. Yeah, I'm not a master, and then it drops. I'm not a fucking master. All right. You know what? That's what I want to tell you guys. I want to set myself free. I'm not a fucking master. I'm 31 years old. I'm on the path. I'm learning. I'm gathering information. I'm learning about who I am. Right. And to this being a figure in the world, the detox dude or any other figure, there's this pressure to be a master. There's this internal, external pressure to be some sort of master. And then you can do 2 things with that. 3 things. One is you can actually be a master. And I fucking bow to them. Please show me them. I want to learn. 2, you only show up to the camera when you're in a space of mastery, right? Or 3, you show up to the camera and you pretend to be a master. And you pretend to be a master, and you pretend to be perfect, and you pretend to be in an amazing vibration all the time, and you pretend to have no issues, and you pretend to be totally clear and happy. And maybe there's a 4th of people who are actually that. And please teach me too. I haven't found it after $300,000 of sticking things up my ass and meditating and deep spiritual work. Right? And the ones who I do have found that are that, to me, it feels like they're bypassing to some degree. Anyway, this is all just me just sharing with you that, you know, it's a beautiful thing to be able to show up when you're not in perfect mood, when you're not in perfection. Okay? Because then I'm just paralyzed anytime I'm not in a perfect mood. And it's like, I can't make a YouTube video. I can't manifest. I can't create because some people are going to see a lower vibrational Josh. I don't want to choose that. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to show up in these parts of myself and still speak. Should I be muted if I'm not, in a perfect mood? Anyway, just a little bit of a rant there. Hope it helps you. I'm sure it will. People always tell me that when I just, talk my heart and just rant, that it somehow helps them. So, all right, guys. Dude, it's real when you're being yourself. It's why your channel appeals to so many of us. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Jason, Jack, Surfo, Ray, Nate, Masha, Bogus, Justin, Marlene, Albert. Thank you. Please join me on all of my lives. This is my fuel right now. And I'm definitely moving sometime soon, guys. I'm getting out of here. I don't know where yet, but it's happening. I'm setting my intentions. I need a shift. I'm ready for a big shift in my life. Maybe saying stuff like that is part of the perfection, like what you were just recently talking about. I don't know what you mean, but I gotta go. I gotta eat. Peace.